What's up, y'all? It's TTC, aka the ThunderConductor, and we back for another YouTube video and Twitch stream. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell. And if you're on Twitch, make sure you follow and ring the bell. We do this 2 times a week on YouTube and 1 time on Twitch. So let's get straight into it. I got a question for y'all. What is your favorite mono black commander for both EDH and cEDH? We gonna have some cats, of course. Keurig, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the best for years now, without a shadow of a doubt. It's still seeing competitive play at the highest levels in tournament play. We gonna have some people saying, "What's up, Mari?" We gonna have some folks saying we got Turgrid and a plethora of mono black because it's just power, just to have that single color. And we got Mari in the chat, man. Hey, I'm doing great, brother. But before. I'll say this before I do anything else. I cheated with my favorite. I'm gonna tell y'all. My favorite is on his 2 commanders. It definitely has to be Francisco Foul Marauder with Tevesh Zot Doom of Fools. So T, what you saying, man? What you saying, bro? Like, what you mean by this? All right, so check this out. This has been a commander pair that I've wanted to brew for such a long time. I'm not gonna cap, because the idea, I don't have any partner commanders right now. I've never done it. It was kind of like everybody's doing it, but it's like I love monocolor. I love that fringe, but I saw some combo. This pairing really kind of fit my need for the combo of command zone, but actually my new love and passion for having card draw in the command zone. And so with Francisco Foul Marauder being a flying 0/1 bird pirate that it can't block, okay, and if you see it as 0, so it can't block or attack, but it says whenever one or more pirates you control deal damage to a player, Francisco explores. And if you all are not familiar with Explorer basically states that when this thing does damage, you reveal the top card of your library. If it is a land card, you'll put that land card into your hand. If it's a non-land card, you choose whether to put that card, leave it on top, or put it into your graveyard, and you put a +1/+1 counter on the explored creature, okay? So it also has partner, and so you said, okay, this is cool. If you're not aware, surprise, surprise, it combos with Agatha Soul Cauldron and Walking Ballista. Yay! So we have our combo in the command zone. But then let's slide over to Tevesh Doom of Fools. Tevesh Zot, Doom of Fools. So this is a Planeswalker, side note, if you all don't know. So I started playing after War of the Spark, but War of the Spark by far is one of my favorite sets. I love Planeswalkers. They're so powerful. Though they're not the best in EDH and cEDH, like in 60 card formats, they're still super, super powerful. What Tevesh Zot Doom of Fools does specifically is it costs 4 and a black. It comes in with 4 loyalty, and it says pay 2, you get the +2 it to create 2 0/1 black throw creature tokens. Just stay with me, just stick with me, because I know, like, you looking at me like, T, we got a bunch of 0/1s. How are we gonna do it? Just wait. You can also +1, and it says on resolution, you may sacrifice another creature or planeswalker. If you do, you get to draw 2 cards, then draw another card if the sacrifice permanent was a commander. So for example, we have this super cheap commander that's easy to get out on turn 1. So basically we get set up, or if we get our Tevesh Zot out on turn 1, or we get our Francisco out on turn 1, we can basically go, all right, turn 1, Bob, Francisco, turn 2. All right, I need just a little more action, or I just need one more piece. Let's dig a little deeper. I can sack Francisco if I'm not going for the Agatha Soul Cauldron Walking Ballista combo. So that's the gist of it. And we also, there is a -10, but I'm gonna be honest, like, this is not the goal, but it is like I have to accept that this is part of what comes with playing Tevesh and why it's such a scary commander. Not just because it draws cards, but it says if you -10, you get to gain control of all commanders and put all commanders from the command zone onto the battlefield under your control. And it basically says, that means that you'll grab all the commanders that are on board and in your opponent's graveyard, in your opponent's command zone and your own, and put them under your control. And the cool synergy or combo with this is if Tevesh Zot is at exactly 10 and you minus it down to 0, Tevesh will die as a state-based action and will be put back on the stack, because removing the counters is just one part, is just the cost of activating the ability. Tevesh will go to the command zone, and then the ability resolves. putting Tevesh back on to the battlefield when it's on ability resolve. So really, really cool ability. Basically, you just get 2 activations in one turn. Okay, it's like having chain villain command. So okay, it's a little something, but it's really cool. I absolutely love it, and it really has like some real big potential just to be like super spicy. So before we get into the brew, I just want to tell you all, if you're looking for more ways to support the channel, we have a plethora of ways, starting off with our ThunderConductor proxies. Get your access to these amazing card stack and premium paperback proxies. It's my way to increase access to this amazing format called cEDH. Next, we have our amazing ThunderConductor merch, as I'm wearing here. It is so small, it's so soft and smooth. It is honestly my favorite clothes to wear nowadays. I don't leave home without it any day. I'm not even gonna cap. People have been saying, dude, where you getting your clothes from? I said, check the link in the bio, and I'm gonna say it to y'all too. Check the link in the bio. If you also want another way to support, purely we have a Discord community. Check that out. It's also in the link in the bio, and it's basically the ThunderConductor community, and you get to do everything from just chat with me, play games, and do all the fun things that just come with knowing me. I'm a cool dude, and I want to meet all the cool folks out there. But if you want to get deeper access to Patreon and also some other perks, check our Patreon, our deeper access to the Discord, and also some other perks. Check our Patreon out. It's a great way to get exclusive Q&As, have the deck to have the chance to have your deck featured right here on the channel, and lastly, you get shout outs on my streams and videos. So like my guy Scott Mitchell, thank you for him being a mono red tier patron. And lastly, if you say AT, those are some great ways to support the show, but I just want to bless you one time for the one time. Don't worry, check the link out in the bio. You can buy me a cup of coffee. It keeps me up and keeps the lights on. But with that said, let's get straight into this brewing session. Like, this is open, like, so if you in the chat, drop down your input. I would love to hear your ideas. I'm gonna take you all through my process, how I do the do when I'm brewing a brand new deck. This is actually not a super popular list that no one is really making, because you're only playing in mono black, and if you're not playing Keurig or one of the other super strong mono black commanders, you're really in that position where people are just like, it's fine, but it's not really anything like special. So what I did is, first thing is I went online and I went on to Moxfield and looked up any other cEDH lists through the advanced category. If you go to the search bar, and I've already saved it, but you can just go here, search in, and actually a better way to do it is if you go to home, you can hit advanced, and if you can put your commander in, be Francisco, and you get to Tevesh, boom. And then if you just go to hubs, I usually just like to just throw because I'm building a cEDH deck, this kind of like makes it easier just to kind of weed out any decks that really don't go from like the playstyle I'm going for. So we'll just do this, and there's actually a new list, excuse me. There's a newer list actually out. Oh my gosh, y'all, I'm dying over here. Oh, there we go. Don't y'all love water? It's amazing. It keeps us alive. All right. So I would go to a list like this and kind of see it. Okay, check out Francisco Tevesh, Black Pot, and kind of just get a feel and a vibe for what they're doing. And so I would do this for a while. I've already actually seen a lot of the lists, and I actually haven't seen this list, which is actually funny. It's kind of weird, but so I will be like, all right, I see they're running the Karn. It's actually a card I'm actually thinking about running the list. I'm seeing a Blood Pet, and so I would just save this list and just go to share and save. So this is one of the lists that they're doing, and so I want y'all to give me 1 second. I am choking right now on stream. Give me 1 second. Thank you all so much. I had a whole moment right there. I was like, oh my God, my voice, my throat, everything's stopping up. Oh God. All right, so I would just look through this, but though I think this is a cool list, we've already done the pleasure of just putting that into our deck. So we just go to our decks, go to our Francisco Tevesh list that I kind of got cheated a little bit. I kind of got started, but this was my first list I looked at, and I just opened it up and it started here. So looked at their list, and we can compare the list. I've made a lot of changes, but what this list was originally doing, like they're doing Horde and Brewed lore. So I knew they were doing Peer into the Abyss and other things like that, they were actually running Mikaeus. Mikaeus actually combos with Walking Ballista, and if you have a way to use infinite ETBs and LTBs, and it also combos with Triskelion, and so that was what they're originally doing. It's a little, I found after some playtests, it was a little hard to put together, but it's cool. Like I'm seeing like Keurig, so we can cheat the mana cost and stuff, and I also saw Razaketh, which is really cool. Look through it, they have like, pretty good, interaction package. They're doing their thing. Tutor packages, everything are really good, and they just doing their thing. So what I would do is I usually just copy this list over, and so now you all can see the changes I made from this list to when I got to my own variant right here, and then we can get into the meat of like where's TTC's mind is at. So where if you hit here and you go to compare, bet, compare. All right, okay, cool. All right, so as you can see, I've already taken out 23 cards, and I can kind of break down to you why I've taken out what I've taken out after a lot of play testing, and then we can get into, I want to hear y'all's feedback. All right, first thing, the Mikaeus line is super, super hard to put together purely because that 3 colors and 3 black is really hard to put together because it's a 3-card combo. Like, we do run Bolas Acidity on this list, as you all will see soon. But the difference between Bolas Citadel is you smack it down and you can start to get more advantage off the top as long as you don't hit a land. If you and you can even hit a land, you just need to have a land drop still to be able to play it. So it's kind of a little. I found it was a little clunky, and so I actually switched out the Mikaeus line with the Tazrit, the Trazyn the Infinite line. So it goes Trazyn the Infinite, and it also you have to have Trazyn the Infinite, Walking Ballista, and also Phyrexian Devourer. And so you can use something like Buried Alive to put those 3 cards into graveyard. And if you have a reanimate effect, you reanimate the Trazyn, and the Trazyn will have all the activated abilities of all creatures, all artifacts in your graveyard. And so Phyrexian Devourer lets you exile cards and put counters on your creature, and then Walking Ballista lets you remove counters. So as long as the CMC of your deck is larger than 120 or 40 times 3, you basically can kill your opponents like that. So I took that line out, the Mikaeus line out. I took out lead in Mirror because I didn't want to have to deal with Summoning Sickness, and it's a 2-mana dork that's a 1/1 to only give you black mana. I was really looking like, I see what they're going for, but I went ahead and took that out for Rain of Filth. I just think Rain of Filth is better, more explosive. Even though if I'm trying to go turbo, it may not be the best thing, but I was like, I just think it's good because if the board gets thawed out, or if I really just need to just push a little bit further, I can use my lands and just kind of just pop off. Like if I'm on turn 3 or 4, this can be an extra 2 to 3 mana depending on what I'm looking like. So I like that. Let me see. Forge of Heroes. So this is a pretty cool land. I've actually never played this in the deck before. It recently actually came out in Commander Masters. And so what this says is tap it, choose target commander that entered the battle for this turn. You can tap it, put a +1/+1 counter on it if it's a creature, and a loyalty counter on it if it's a planeswalker. This is cool with how it interacts with the Tevesh style, but it's really there to get a counter onto your Francisco to be able to start beating with it and use Francisco as card advantage and not just a combo piece. I understand that, but after some playtesting, I found that this was just more cute than actually getting the job done, and just having pure black mana is just better. So I actually switched this out with a swamp and just kept it going. Next is Bog Witch. This is actually an interesting clue that didn't fully make sense to me. So with Bog Witch is it costs 3. You have to pay a black, tap it, and discard a card from your hand to add 3 mana to your mana pool. And so it's basically an investment to have a multiple dark ritual, which is fine. But after a little digging, I actually ended up finding a cooler card that does something even better, which is over Eager Apprentice. So this one does not only does it have a bigger booty than it has a bigger toughness than Bog Witch, it also doesn't have to deal with Summoning Sickness, similar to what I was saying about this Leading Mirror. So I added this in because even though it's you would say then T, well, it costs 3 and you can sack it immediately for 3 black mana. So what's the point of that? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because we run Necro opponents in this deck, this means that if I have this card in my hand plus a way to make 3 mana on my opening turn, even if some of that mana is, for example, colorless, so I can have Ancient Tomb and a Chrome Mox and a black spell cast this and then sack it, discarding a card, going to a turn 1 Necro, or I can have land mana crypt, this spell, sack, discard a card, and then have the 3 black for Necro opponents. Not to mention all the other black pips in this. This really has turned into a mana filter, which is great because there's so many black pips to do what we want to do. So been loving that. Buried Ruin, I just felt like this Buried Ruin and Sequestered Stash were trying to lean too hard in the Agatha Soul Cauldron line. We win other ways, and we don't actually, like, I don't care if my Agatha Soul Cauldron gets destroyed. It sucks, but we carry so many tutors, and we have Peer in the Biz, Born Ballista, that we have so many other ways to win. Losing Agatha Soul Cauldron or some junk like that, I'm like, I can live without it. So, we'll live without it. All right. Meat Hood Massacre. I took this one out. I probably will end up adding it back because it's just generically good. I like it. It's a board wipe that also causes your opponents to lose life and you gain life, and it's actually a way to win without under the One Ring protection, because you're losing life, but you need to. That's actually the outlet that they would use with their Machias and Walking Ballista to make all their opponents lose infinite life. The only thing is, though, you have to dump all your mana into it, and so I was kind of like, I'm trying to be more proactive. I kind of see this deck kind of going more mid-rangey with the Tevesh, but we want to be a turbo combo list focused. Like, it can really consistently can win on turn 2 unprotected, which I'm thinking in my head at that point, we really don't have to worry about too much about trying to wipe the board and be the controlling force to the table, because we're trying to win the game. So I took it out and I threw in some other card. I can't remember exactly what up, but yeah, just threw that. I threw in I probably threw in another card that was just, in my opinion, just a wee bit better. And we can get into that a little bit later. Triskelion, took that out. It combos with, just to get through these, Triskelion is basically Walking Ballista, another copy of Walking Ballista, but it's a lot harder to cast, and it's a lot harder. It's 6 mana instead of 0, so it just is really clunky, and you would think it'd be great to have another copy of Walking Ballista. It's not, because purely off the thing of, yes, it works with our Trajan combo as well, but it's like the epitome of like, hey dude, like, if we need to get Walking Ballista in the graveyard, we can literally cast it for 0. It'll state-based action go to the graveyard. So I was like, Next, this is actually cool. A lot of these lists are running things like Inquisition of Kozilek, Duress, let's see what else, and Thoughtseize. I like the idea of this. It's a great idea. You take a piece removal out your opponent's hand that would stop you, and either they have to counter the counter spell, counter the removal spell, take it out their hand, and you get the information of revealing their hand to the table. So it's a little political. But the thing is, though, in this blue mid-range meta we're in, I was like, nah, fuck that shit. I think if you can win turn 1 to turn 2, go and press it, depending on what the pot is looking like. If you can win in turn 3, go for it. But I'm gonna be honest, I personally thought better spells to run would be stuff like Conqueror's Flail and Hoper Gearper, which is like, you would think, well, it's basically the same thing. It's like, no, in my head, I don't care if you have counter spells in your hand or not. If I hit you with my Hope of Gearper and then just sacrifice it, now you can't cast those shits either way. And say hypothetically I get stopped, it's okay, because now once it gets back to my next turn, the person still has the spells. They can still interact with my opponents. Now it does shut them off from non-creature spells, so it's kind of like, that little sucks a little bit, but it's part of the game. I will say I did add Unmask. This is actually a really fun, cool card that I am actually really just I saw it in another list. That was another mono black list that I really liked. And the cool thing I like about this is that it doesn't say target opponent like a lot of the other Thoughtseize spells say. It says target player reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Because it's target player, we can target ourselves to discard certain cards. So basically, say for example, if I have I have land, a way to make 2 extra mana, and Unmask and a Hoarding Broodlord in our hand, I can go, okay, I'm not worried about this. I can target myself with Unmask, discard the Hoarding Broodlord, and then reanimate it, or some Shallow Grave or some other reanimation effect to get it back out the graveyard, and I didn't have to entomb it. Because what will happen is we'll draw our Hoarding Broodlord, and we either have to draw too many cards per turn and discard it for the end of turn, or we can discard it right there and there. So I love the Unmask. Plus, you can use it against your opponents for the same effect, but it's free because you can exile a black card from your hand to get the same effect. So I like this one. Other notable includes that I took out. I took Razaketh out. I'm not really much of this. I would love to hear you all's opinion on Razaketh lines. There's not like, because we're not in green, we can't run life and death. I see the synergies with trying to do things with your Tevesh side where you can make a bunch of 0/1 tokens, and instead of sacking them early, you can just keep building them up, and that's cool. It just, I didn't want to do that. I just gotta say it like that. I think Hoarding Broodlord is better blatantly, and I don't think we needed this Razaketh. I personally rather have run Shieldred. Why? Because Razaketh is basically only a combo piece. You can play it, but you can play it at any time and use it for value and sack extra creatures to do your thing. But I'm gonna be honest, if you put this on the board, two things are gonna happen. You're gonna become the threat, A, and then B, what's going to end up happening is your opponents are going to clone your Razaketh and win on top of whatever the fuck you were trying to do. So if you get Razaketh down, you need to immediately win. Where on the flip side, I really wanted to run Shieldred. Now, do I think this is the best card on the planet? No. I think it's really cool. It has dummy stupid potential. It is a 4/5 with Death Touch, and says whenever I draw a card, I get to gain 2 life, and whenever my opponents draw a card, they lose 2 life. So this is great to combat this mid-range hell we in. So this is great. Gucci. But the cool thing about Shieldred is it also combos with Bolus's Citadel and Sensei's Divining Top. It can be another copy of Aetherflux Reservoir if it ever gets removed, or if we hit Shieldred before we hit Aetherflux Reservoir. And so this is really cool, like, because it's also a lot more easily tutorable to the graveyard compared to other things. We can actually reanimate this, and we can do cheeky things like really navigate the board in a really cool way. So I just want to say, like, I really love this card. The idea of it, is it a mainstay? We'll see. It's 4 mana, so it makes our Bolus Citadel combo with Sensei's Divine Top cost 11, but it would cost 11 either way with Aetherflux Reservoir, so it's like, we'll see. Some other cards I took out. Took Mindstone out. I wanted Felwire Stone. I wanted my color pips. I know this can draw a card, and that's great because we're running Bolus Citadel, but I just want my color pips. I would love to be argued into convinced into running Mindstone. I'm gonna be honest, it's a cool card. I want my color pips. I don't want to be, same with these lands, I don't want to be not able to win the game because I'm sitting here on a bunch of colored mana. All right. Kite Sail Freebooter was actually one that was hard to remove. So the cool thing about this is it's synergistic with our commander. It actually triggers our commander, and it says when it enters the battlefield, target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it, exile that card until Kite Sail Larcenous relieves the battlefield. So it will give them the card back. But the thing is, though, it has evasion, which is flying, and it's a 1-body. So if you get this down on, for example, turn 1 and then turn 2 you cast your commander, you can go to combat and explore, which is cool, and it's cute because it's a pirate. I think the idea of it is really cool. It is a card that I want to add back, but it feels almost a little too cute because the real card advantage is going to come from Tevesh side, not from the explorability. I don't want this to be plan A. I want this to be plan B. And if we have to spend 2 mana, if we're spending 2 mana to remove the counter spell from our opponent's hand, if we're trying to do this defensively for when we're trying to win, now we have 2 less letter to commit to the board when I'd rather cast a defense grid or equip a Conqueror's Flail that I put down earlier, or even just possibly just paid 1 on a previous turn and attacked with a Hope of Girper and just kind of get rid of it. So this was changed for Hope of Girper, but it's kind of still in that same boat where I possibly want to add it back, but it may be a little too cute. So we'll keep going. Dark Confident, I actually took this one out for Black Market Connections. Yes, it uses our life, similar to Dark Confident, but with this one reveals the top card of the library and we lose life. This one we get a guaranteed. We draw the card, it's not revealed information. We also can make mana off this and make fodder creatures to both protect our Tevesh shot if we want to keep it alive and maybe go for the 10. But we also, pretty cool, we can, if we plan on casting Tevesh out that turn, we can go, all right, we'll make the token, make cast Tevesh, immediately +1 it to sacrifice the token created and then draw 2 cards. I think that's good. So yeah. Other thing, talking to Abandoned Mire, I took that out based for a basic swamp. This list he was running was not running Lake of the Dead. This card it's fucking cracked to do it. I'm just gonna be completely honest with you. What this says is, if Lake of the Dead would enter the battlefield, sacrifice a swamp instead. If you do put Lake of the Dead onto the battlefield, if you don't, put it into the owner's graveyard. Okay, you could tap it for black, which is cool because it doesn't come untapped. I mean, it doesn't come in tapped, but you can also tap it, sacrifice a swamp, and then add 4 black to your mana pool. Okay, so it takes a little bit of a setup, but what I've done is increased my my swamp count in this list to be really a lot more potent and a lot more powerful. So, and of course we're running Urborg Tumiyog mod to like make all our land swamps and all the other cool stuff. I think this is just better. It's just, like I said, it takes a little bit of a setup, but if you increase this with the swamp count in your list high enough, which we have definitely done, we've added 4 more swamps. It makes it a lot more comparable. Other things, I took out Blood Pet. It was like you pay 1 black and you sack it to put a black into your mana pool. I understand the intention behind it. Once again, I understand the intention behind it. It's pay 1 black, get 1 black later. I personally thought that, what did I add in this place? I just didn't think it was very good. I think I added something else in this place, like a mana rock or some other junk into it. We'll get to that in a second. Probably added another reanimate effect, but it just seemed like every time I saw it, I was like, I don't want to see this card. That was like when I'm brewing and I'm playtesting stuff. I just saw it and I'm just like, that's mid. It doesn't feel good when I'm playing it. It doesn't get me towards the game plan of winning better. And just very lastly, this one, I took this one out because I wanted more swamps into my list, even though it has the removal. It's only sorcery speed removal, so paying 4 to do -2, -1 counter to it just felt a little mid because it's sorcery, so I cannot get rid of a Grand Abolisher unless they did it on a setup turn, which happens, but nah. And Phyrexian Tower, I wanted more swamps, and Shizo Death Swords, I wanted more swaps. These abilities were cool, but I thought having that guaranteed black was much better. Actually, in a lot of test hands, I saw that this one was just a little lackluster, if I'm being fully transparent. So made all these changes, added a bunch of stuff in, and so that is what I do when I'm first looking at the list. Like, I'll go in there, I'll play test the list, and I play tested the list, this guy's list a lot, and these were some of the changes I made. But when it came to the cards that I want to take out, I also was trying to look for cards to put in the list. All right, so then we get to my second inspiration, which was honestly the biggest inspiration for this list. I effing love it. It's really, really cool. So Braids is actually I would say the king of the mid-range lists when it comes to the cEDH tournament scene. So what Braid says is, at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker. If you do, each opponent may sacrifice a permanent that shares the type with it. For each opponent who doesn't, that player loses 2 life and you draw a card. Okay, so you can basically make each opponent lose 2 life, and you can draw 3 cards each end step, as long as you have some fodder or something to like discard, to sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? And so this was like the list where I started to really get into my bag. Like, I ended up wanting to add Grief. I ended up taking it back out, but seeing things like Grief and Disciple of Gix, and seeing these kind of combos that this was actually the inspiration for like the Phyrexian Devourer, and adding in the Traz and the Infinite, Walking Ballista, the Violent Tumor, and all these other cool stuff. So shout out to this guy. Check him out, Moses. He's an amazing Braids pilot. So awesome Braids pilot, and it was a very big inspiration to the win cons of the list that I'm currently running. So then, of course, you all have the question for me. Well, T, you talked a lot about how like the inspiration for the list and all the other things. So how are you planning on winning the game? Okay. Of course, we have we have Francisco, and we have the Walking Ballista, and we have the Agatha Soul Cauldron. Okay, simple. When it comes to other win cons that we're running currently in the list, I have packed as much as I could, And we have, of course, the Francisco Walking Ballista Agatha Soul Cauldron as one of our finishers. We also have Trash in the Infinite. We talked about this one. Phyrexian Devour and Walking Ballista as a way to finish off the table with infinite pings and infinite damage. The cool thing about this one is that there's 2 cards that actually allows they assemble the combo with this, and we just need to have a reanimator effect. So both Buried Alive and Disciple of Gix can get our 3 cards we need, put them into the graveyard, and then we can just reanimate them. Now, granted, Disciple of Gix is a little expensive, and I'm kind of on the wall whether I want to run it or not, but I just think that it's worth the 6 mana if my reanimator effect is like, for example, Reanimate or like an Animate Death. That means for 6 to 8 mana, I basically just win the game, and I think that's really, really powerful. So, I think it's really cool. I think it's really powerful, and it's cool because once this can be done at instant speed using our emergent zone. It's the only instant speed. Well, all our combos can be done at instant speed in one, but this one is like the easiest guaranteed instant speed win. Okay, so next we have Bolus' Citadel. We have Sensei's Divining Top, Aether Flux Reservoir. And then basically we gain infinite life or near infinite life, and we can pay 50 life and do 50 damage to target opponent. And we're entering the part of the game where it's kind of like, hey T, I'm seeing a lot of target opponent. How are you gonna win with someone that has 1 ring protection? Don't worry, I got y'all. The biggest thing to remember about this is the 1 ring is scary, but as long winning at instant speed is the best cure for that. You can basically hold priority in their upkeep, or when it triggers on the stack, you can respond to the trigger with an activation. For example, with Francisco Walking Ballista and Agatha Soul Cauldron, you can do all the pings to your opponent and kill your opponents, and then with the when you can kill your 2 opponents, and with the 3rd opponent, just kill the 3rd one. It's simple. When it comes to that's basically it. And I've already talked about this, but I've added in Shieldred, Bolus' Citadel, and Sensei's Divine Pop as another combo. And I also, this is a cute combo, but I had to recognize them because there is a way to kill opponent. If you have Shieldred the Apocalypse and Peer in the Abyss, and you target an opponent with Peer in the Abyss, especially if they're a non-blue opponent who can't cast a Born Upon the Wind. Like if you have a defense grid and they can't cast Born, there's a universe where you can, this is a way to kill a person. You target them with Peer into the Abyss, you make them lose. They will draw half their library. Shieldred the Apocalypse triggers will go on the stack, and as long as you have a silence effect, or you make sure that they cannot pop up a Born or crack our emergent zone. So if they're green, beware of crop rotation as well. You basically will draw them half their library, they'll lose half their life, and they'll get drained for the rest. And a very similar thing can happen with Orcish Bowmaster and Peer into the Abyss. This one is damage based, but you do get that Orc army. So if you already had an Orc army out and it just continues to grow, you can swing with it off and kill 1 to 2 people, maybe 3, depending on what those triggers look like. So those are the main combos that I plan on running right now. Like I said, these are combos that I'm not currently running. We got Francisco and Triskelion. I tell you, like I said, Triskelion in all of my playtests when I was first kind of just feeling this deck out, the initial Like Guys deck, it's super hard to get into the graveyard. You need to basically have a discard outlet on board, and now at that point, I feel like we're changing the trajectory of what the deck wants to do. I feel like Walking Ballista is just cleaner, it's easier, and in this slot that we have Triskelion, it really opened up us to allow us to run Tries in the Infinite, which is actually just good in general. You can even in some universe cast it as a value creature or reanimate it as a value creature, and you can have an extra soul ring, or you can have some other value pieces you want to do. There are other combos with Tries in the Infinite to make infinite mana, or you can use this also with a oh my gosh, what is that card called? There is a let me see Scryfall real quick. What is that card called? It is an artifact. It has the word draw on it, and it has the word untap, and it has the word gain life, and it's colorless, and it costs 3 mana. Let's see if it. Oh, of course. This is amazing. Did I make my parameters too tight? Maybe if I put comma. Yeah, let's go back 1 second. Oh, it is a common combo piece. Let me take these away. Let's try to do this again. There we go. Staff of Domination. So if you have Staff of Domination in your graveyard, you can also do shenanigans like drawing your entire deck like this. I'm not currently running Staff of Domination only because I think it's a little cheeky. You know, it is cool because you can draw your library, but the only part is Trazen has to have no summoning sickness. And we actually do have ways to get around summoning sickness. So like if you have specifically these certain reanimator effects, like there are instant speed reanimator effects that are, excuse me, they are, where are they at? Maybe then. Oh yeah. For example, Shallow Grave. Shallow Grave is instant speed that says return the top creature card of your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature gains haste until the end of turn. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step. So it is. There are ways to give haste in Mono Black, but I'm kind of looking like I'm not really feeling this one too much. If I be fully transparent, like I know I like the card, but I just don't want to lean on that as being my thing. You know what I'm saying? And we also do have Corpse Stance, another good one. It basically it has buyback, so you can pay two colors in the black and buy back 2. It says return the top creature card of your graveyard to the battlefield. That creature gains haste until the end of turn. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step. You know what I'm saying? Same thing, but has the buyback. It costs 3 mana, and it's a way to get haste. I just didn't want to have these cards in order to do the combo. But I'm not gonna lie, it did, like, kind of talking about it out loud, I think it's worth adding to the sideboard, because all you really need is this, and I think all you need is this and Soul Ring in your graveyard, because you trap Trazen for 2 colors for the Soul Ring. You pay 1 to untap Trazen with the untap ability on Staff of Domination, and then you make infinite colors, and then you start to activate the 5 mana ability to draw your entire deck at instant speed, and you can tap everyone's creatures, you can untap all your creatures, and you can gain infinite life. So I think this does something. It enables you to finish off the table with Aetherflux Reservoir. So I'm kind of almost convinced myself that I may want to have this in the list. Maybe. I think I'm gonna add this to the list. We're having fun. Fuck it. All right. We'll see. Okay. And now that we've seen that, now I want to show you all, let's see. Very last list that was my inspiration before we get into the meat is I would like to show you all this one, which of course I had to look at a Keurig list. They are running the Professor Onyx and Chain of Small combo. I was really looking at this more and more for inspiration on like what is one of the best black lists running. And granted, this isn't a tournament winning deck. I just saw it through a YouTube channel. Pretty cool. If you check out my link in the bio to see the list, you can actually kind of see. And I kind of wanted to get a feel out for like what are they running. Like, of course, they're running the Overeager Apprentice to filter into black if they need it, and all this other cool stuff. So these are inspirations. Let's get more into the deck tech though. I want to show you all what I currently am running, and we can actually just start pulling apart this and getting a little more deep to it. All right, so. And if you all are not aware, backseating is extremely encouraged, because I want to hear you all. So starting off with the creatures, of course you all know our commanders, but we have Dauthi Voidwalker. Kind of on the side about this one. I'm fine with running it because of the stacks pieces. Same with Disciple of Gix. We've talked about this. The first one that I kind of see on the chopping block is this Greedy Freebooter. So what this is a pirate, so it synergizes with actually both our its creature type synergizes with our Francisco commander, and its die triggers synergizes with our with our Tevesh Zot Doom of Fools commander, because it says when it dies you get to scry 1 and create a treasure token. So basically After the ability resolves and the creature gets sacrificed, you draw the 2 cards from its +1 ability. Then you can discard one and make a treasure token. So basically, if you cast this, it's basically free. You know what I'm saying? Which is actually kind of cool. It's kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie. It's like okay, that's kind of cool. So I like this, even though I was kind of saying the other one was kind of cute. I think this one synergizes with both our commanders. It will never technically be a dead card. It honestly can always at least be a scry 1. I can see in some universe where this can actually be even synergistic with our Bolas Citadel. So like if we hit another land, we could play this, sack it to our commander to draw 2 and even scry 1 to make sure our next draw, our next Bolas look at card is not a card that either we can't cast with our life total or it's not a land permanent. So I'm gonna keep this one in for now, but we'll see. We got Horde and Brood Lord, it's not going nowhere. We got Hope of Gipper, a silence effect for 1 person. We're a mono black. We gotta do. I was in the wall about Keurig. I'm not gonna lie. I was super on the wall. I was wondering like, do I want to run this like as a ramp piece? And I'm kind of like, in the playtest hands, if it's really good. I'm gonna be honest. It's a reason that it's one of the best commanders on the planet. It's just really fucking good. So I absolutely love it. And thus far, it's 7 mana. We're 4 colorless and 6 life. It's a thing. It's not the thing I'll base an entire hand off of. But it is a card that it gets the job done. It helps you really do some really cheeky plays and play a lot more aggressively in the way they usually wouldn't be able to. So opposition Ilkers Bowmasters, can't leave home without it. We already talked about Rear Apprentice. We talked about Phyrexian Devourer being a combo piece with our Trazyn the Infinite. We've also have Shield of the Apocalypse is a stacks piece, a life gain piece, and even more a combo piece. We have Violent Tumor, kind of filling this one out currently. But I noticed I had whenever I was playtesting it, I had so many ways to just get cards out of the graveyard, but not enough ways to put them into the graveyard. So I kind of fell under peer pressure. I saw enough loose running it, so I was like, all right, I'll give it a go. Walking Bliss is a combo piece. Academ's Awaken, I've never actually had to cast this to reanimate from the graveyard, but it is another reanimator effect. Even though it costs more, it's also great for the Bolas Citadel. You know what I'm saying? Because if you put this on top, you can cast it for X = 0 for free, just pay 3 life, and you can keep the line going. It's great to have these non-land cards that also flip it. You just pay 3 life, it's an untapped land. So, and gives you colored mana, which is good. Beseech the Mirror, it's a tutor, love it. It basically can cast a spell for free. Buried Alive is actually one of the best tutors in the list because this plus a reanimate spell. So if you have 4 mana your opening turn, it is a turn 1 win with like a reanimate. So you can go Buried Alive, put your 3 artifact creatures into the bin, and then reanimate for 1 black, and you win. So that's cool. You got D tutor, yeah, Diabolical Intent. I was originally running Praetor's Grasp, but I'm gonna be honest, even though our opponents most times in this current cEDH meta will have more higher card quality than this, I promise you, I kind of agree with some other pilot's choice to take Praetor's Grasp out, because for this specific list, I really don't need to do that, and we have so many expendable creatures, especially from our Tevesh shot, that we never really have mind having to do the sacrifice of creature to make this happen. All right, so Feed the Swarm. I'm actually on the chopping block about this one. I'm finding because I'm having fun being a mono black turbo combo player. I kind of may have skimped out on the removal, but we'll leave it in there. It can get rid of some fishes when we're trying to combo off, and get rid of some Ristic Studies when we're trying to combo off. So it just gets the job done if we really like peer into the abyss or whatever not. So Final Parting. We didn't talk about this in my kind of quick put together primer. Final Parting is actually a 1-card combo with our commander, because what it does is for 5 mana for 3 colors and 2 black, you search your library for 2 cards, you put 1 into your hand and the other into your graveyard, and then shuffle. So what this does is basically, if you have 7 mana total, 2 of it being black, you and your commander already on board, you basically clash your commander on turn 1, turn 2, you go Final Parting for 5, and then you put Agatha's Soul Cauldron in your hand and Walking Ballista into your graveyard, cast the Agatha's Soul Cauldron, exile the Walking Ballista, and now you have the combo together. And now you're just hoping that the top card is a non-land card so you can start the combo. So really cool 1-card combo. Like we've shown that we have Buried Alive and the Final Parting, That's one card, basically card subs. We just have to have the other piece. This one being Francisco already on the battlefield, and this one being we have to have a reanimator effect. So yeah, Grim Tutor. We're mono black. Fuck it. Imperial Seal, cool. I love Peer into the Abyss. I know we're in the Bowmaster's world. We're in the world where drawing is being penalized because everyone's doing it, but it's just, to be honest, it just gets the job done. We got Reanimator. Great. Can be used on any person's graveyard, which is just notably to be said. Toxic Deluge is our singular board wipe. We have so many tutors. I'm not really much worried about trying to wipe the board because we're trying to win first, okay? Next is Unmarked Grave. This is only for non-legendary. Also, reason I'm not really running Razaketh because this does not find Razaketh. Like similar, this one is for finding Hoarded Brewed Lord, so it just gets the job done like that. We've already talked about Unmasked, that it's basically a discard outlet and also a removal spell for our opponent's cards in their hands. And we get into our instant spells that I'm currently running. Cabal Ritual. Here's our ramp. We got Cabal Ritual, Dark Ritual, and Culling Ritual as our ramp spells. Corpse Dance, and we've already talked about Shallow Grave are some reanimator effects at instant speed that actually give haste. This one having a buyback, I haven't had to use it yet, but it's kind of like, oh, you know, it's something. We got Cut Down and Deadly Rollick as removal spells. It just seems really simple, and Dismember as well. And we have this Entomb, honestly the best Entomb effect because it searches our library for 1 black mana at instant speed as well. We got Imp's Missives. Once again, I need to see these cards in action because right now I just found myself putting more and more and more combo pieces into the list, and I'm looking like, yo, like you got to be able to interact with other people and protect your own combos. So that's just a thing. We also have Reign of Filth. This is another ramp piece. We talked about Sacrifice, another ramp piece. This one, I'm not gonna lie, Sacrifice is only good when we're sacrificing a big beefy creature, which is kind of sucks because both of our commanders are not big beefy creatures. It's like great in lists like Tassiger where you're cheating out the 6 mana commander. You can sack it to go do other cheeky stuff. But yeah, Saw in Half is cool. Something I've kind of like that was kind of cute in my head. I kind of think, even though we know Saw in Half is for the Hoarding Brute Lord lines, I was kind of thinking it'd be cool to be like go Vile Entomber into a Saw in Half to in order to find all the 3 pieces of the Trazyn combo. And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cheeky, but it's 7 mana. We would still need a reanimate effect, which would be an 8th mana. So it gives us something to do our Saw in Half, but it's still a good removal spell, push come to shove. So yeah, we got Snuff Out as well, free interaction, and Vampire Tutor more tutors. When it comes to our artifacts, we have Aether Flux Reservoir, we have Agatha Soul Cauldron, Arcane Signet, and what else we run in? Yeah, these are just combo piece, silence effect, ramp, combo speed, Bullets of Citadel, defense grid, Felwar Stone, Grim Monolith. Just these are ramp pieces and just on standard. I'm running these pieces right here. I'm already kind of thinking in my head, what if I were to run Staff of Domination, what would I want to run with it? You know, like, and I only say that from the place of like, I can always push come to shove, use Staff of Domination as another piece of card draw. But the thing is though, what would I take out for it? And I'm kind of looking at Conqueror's Flow as like a maybe. The only thing about Staff of Domination, the question is like, does this get any card? I could not assemble this combo with very likely assist 3 creature cards, but I could assemble that combo with Disciple of Gix. You know what I'm gonna do? Because then, like, say if I could, I'm looking to assemble the Staff of Domination combo, I would have to have Disciple of Gix. I'm actually gonna put this to the sideboard. Something I'm still thinking about, but I'm gonna put it to the sideboard. Let's see. More ramp. We're not running Voltaic right now, but Manifold Key is good. I actually like the Jeweled Amulet. It's pretty good. You can go land Jeweled Amulet, have 2 mana for your untap, activate it on the end step before your turn, have some cool stuff like that. More ramp. I love being able to run my Mox Amber again. I really haven't had a Mox Amber list because I don't lean on my commanders too much on my other list, and even in my Rionia list, I'm kind of like, this is only dead. It's dead until I get Rionia out, but I need my ramp to get me into my commanders. And the Francisco commander is so cheap, it's kind of like, fuck it. So Yeah, let's see. Skull Clamp, Superstar. It not only kills our commander, but our Francisco to draw 2 cards, but also kills the 0/1s made by Tevesh. So it's really cool. Since they stop, filter, draw another stuff. Not when it comes to the One Ring, can never leave home without it. So Tormod's Crypt is actually one that's interesting. I switched this one out for another Graveyard Hate card. I'm gonna be fully transparent. I don't feel attached to this piece of removal. I feel like there's other removal we can run to really get the job done. One is being what is that card called? It's a free removal spell. Because there's times where I realized I have a good sum of Graveyard Hate. Sickening Shoal. I kind of like this spell because it's like free. It's not like the blue version where you have to have the exact mana value. You can have an X value that's larger than that. You could do target creature gets -X until end of turn, where is you removing the black card with converted mana cost X from your hand from the game and pay Sickening Shoal's mana cost. So it's kind of like, okay, that's kind of cool. Like, kind of thinking about this. I want to feel out and see how that card actually runs for me, like Tormod's Crypt. And of course, Wishclaw, Talisman, more ramp there. All right, so we got Animate Dead, Dance of the Dead, and Necromancy. Can't leave with home without them. They get the job done when it comes to it. We talked about these as like card advantage, mana advantage, Necropotence. I've actually done some playtest hands. I'm actually excited because this is actually fun. Because if you can get Necropotence down turn 1, dig like fucking shit, and go crazy for a turn 2 win, it's actually possible because we have the combo in the command zone. So you can go like either naturally have the Walking Billet set, Act of the Soul Cauldron, or you can go, all right, I'm going to take one of the pieces and a tutor or some to go get the other piece. So it's really, really good. And because we're running Immersion Zone, depending on how we set it up, we can actually win in a lot of other cool ways. Let's see. Now to our land base that I'm looking at is Ancient Tomb, City of Traders, Crystal Vein. Just these are like kind of fast mana lands, whatever not. We got the Cabal bit for instant speed removal. I like it because it's actually be instant speed. The question is how often we'll be turned on if we're trying to be turbo. But if we're forced into a long game, I like knowing that I can get rid of a Grand Abolisher. Merge Zone, we've already talked about it. 15 Swamps, 16 if we include the Urborg to Yawgmoth. That Lake of the Dead, tapping it, sacrificing a swamp to add 4 mana. We don't have a way to untap it to retap it, but we'll see. And last, Urza Saga. I love this land in monocolor list because you can play it turn 1 and basically set up for a guaranteed turn 3 win because you get a boost in mana from the search off this, so it's really good. So now to show you all some of my sideboards, like I thought about running Braids, kind of like let me know it down in the conversation if I'm tweaking. Like, I think it's a great card draw effect, but I think it's like we already have good card draw in the command zone. I feel like I would rather have more engine towards getting to where we want to go, which is winning the game, than trying to play a slug out of mid-range end. Like, our deck can go mid-range because we run Tevesh shot, but it's kind of like I'd rather build it to try to go fast and like let's navigate life like that. You know what I'm saying? Bitter Triumph has actually been interesting, but it's 2 mana interaction. I actually took it out, but I'm kind of like maybe I may put it back, but I don't want too much 2 mana interaction. We're not running ad nauseum, so the mana value doesn't matter. It's just if I interact, I want an interaction for free. So talked about Barry Ruin. Changing the Outcast is another one which triggers our explore mechanic from our commander Francisco, and I'm kind of like, I'm still on the wall about this one. It's just I think the other one's better because it's basically free, because the other one, the Outcast, whatever it's called. Let's see. The greedy Firebooter basically replaces itself with the treasure token, where this, on the other hand, only is if we were trying to go of a game plan of I want to hit people and explore and reveal information. It's like, nah, it's cool. Collective Brutality is a card I saw in another list. Now, this is actually interesting because I'm not sure. I can't remember what. Yeah, this says it's colorless and a black. You can escalate to discard a card. You can pay this cost for each mode chosen beyond the first and choose one or more. Target opponent reveals their hand. It's just more removing counter magic for our opponent's hand. Then you can also remove and you can also remove a creature -2, and you can also make target opponent lose 2 life and you gain 2 life. You know what I'm saying? The problem with this is it's sorcery speed, and I'm not a huge fan of sorcery speed. My saying and my motto is instant speed is king. So that's just how I feel about it. Okay, we already talked about Dark Confident. Deadeye Tracker is, I think, what happened? It's another pirate card. It's just, when I saw other lists, I was like, that's a pirate card. Let's just throw it into the sideboard. This one is pay a colorless and a black tap, exile 2 cards from an opponent's graveyard. Deadeye Tracker explores, and so it's another explorer card that came out with Ixalan. I'm like, I feel like having a 1/1 that just gets blown up over his Bowmaster is not the best thing. It's only letting you see 1 extra card per turn, and it's a tap to activate the ability. It does have the Graveyard Hate and the Explore ability on it, so it will grow. It's just kind of like, I don't know if I want to put my mana that way. Dimir House Guard, it is a sacrifice outlet, but we really don't need a sacrifice outlet for this deck, so cross the bridge when we get there. Disfigure, was thinking about this one because it's 1 mana. Dread Return, I didn't know if I wanted to try to mess with any Dread Return combos. And I was kind of like, I'm unsure about that. Let's see. Flesh Rider, both this one and the Mir Hosgar, those transmute tutors were something I was really interested in. But the thing that you can remember about these are transmute. That well, this one is transfigure, so you have to actually cast it first, and then so it's objectively better in Keurig, where this one is we can actually transmute it even though it's only sorcery speed. We can get a 3 mana spell from our hand, from our deck to our hand, which is cool because we can get Buried Alive, which is a combo piece or a combo line enabler, and or like a Necromancy to, like, you know, shit like that. It's good, but it's kind of like, I'm kind of whatever about that one. When it comes to other things, let's see. I already talked about the rest. Forge Heroes, we already talked about it. Glasses of Urza, I saw a brace this week. My thing is, I put it in and immediately took it out because I'm like, it's kind of like, all right, it's like a colorless Gitaxian Probe. If you're not familiar with Gitaxian Probe, the Gitaxian Probe basically says, pay 2 life, look at the opponent's hand, and then you draw a card. And I feel like part of the reason that's good is because after an ad nauseum, you can Gitaxian Probe, check for interaction, plus draw the card if you Vampire Tutor or some other top deck tutor first to keep your line going. The thing about this is you're just looking at their hand. So all you're knowing is that, oh, I can't go for it this turn. And you have like this political tool of, now I know your hand. And so I took it out, fully transparent. I took it out, but I'm kind of like, it is what it is. So keeping it going, Grief, I like it. I just, it said target opponent, and I wish I could have used this as a discard outlet, so I let it go. This one, I wanted more swamps to keep my super Brant land online more. Incarnation Technique. This one that I saw in another list, it's another Reanimator effect. I just don't want to pay 5 mana for this. It does have to demonstrate, though, so you can let an opponent copy this so you can do 2 of these copies, which it's cool. Insidious Dreams this is another tutor. The card I really want to talk about honestly right now is Karn, the Great Creator. The reason it was in that same boat as Shieldred, but the only thing is Karn, the Great Creator is not a combo piece in this library. It can be a combo piece, and there's colorless lists that use it to combo as a stacks piece and a combo piece. And I like those cards that allow you to do double duty, like I'm stopping my opponents while also kind of moving, like not even kind of, but also comboing with it. But most of the combo pieces with Karn, the Great Creator, are actually like infinite mana. And let me see, I think you can like make infinite mana or like do, like you can combo with this in Aether Flux Reservoir, I think. Let's see. Combo. Yeah, so the combos with Karn, the Great Creator, is Myco Synth Ladders that basically turns off all opponents. This is one that I thought about because it's basically 8 mana to combo. The Aether Flux Reservoir has to have been out already for a turn rotation, but also the thing about Karn is that you have this. They're lying about this thing. You have to have a way to give Aetherflux Reservoir lifelink, and that at that point now you're kind of reaching with your combo you're trying to do, because neither one of these cards have a way. But you basically, once you gain light, you activate Karn's first loaded ability to turn Aetherflux Reservoir into a creature, and then you give Aetherflux Reservoir lifelink, and then when you activate this ability by paying 50 life, dealing 50 damage to any target, and cause you to gain 50 life. And you also have to have more than 50 life, so starting off, which is not impossible, but it's reaching. Let's see, anything else? I mean, you can do the same combo, you make infinite mana, but we have no infinite mana outlet. We not running blue, and as I'm going through them, I keep just seeing more and more of reasons to be there's nothing really here for us. Like, if we were in blue, maybe. But yeah, it's tough. This is interesting. We just not in blue. I'm not gonna entertain it. Just more stuff that's kind of clean. This one seems like I'm reaching because I'm not running. I'm not even running any cards, so I have to run a 4-card combo. It's kind of like nah. Let's see. Nothing really else. Like, this is colorless, but I don't run any of these cards. And so it's like, if I was already kind of like in the direction of where that Karn combo was trying to go, like maybe, but now it's like, nah. Oh, the One Ring and Scourge Familiar and Voltaic Construct. You know what I think? This allows you to sculpt the perfect hand. You'll use the black mana from Scourge Familiar to activate Voltaic Construct, and you activate the One Ring over and over and over by untapping it, and Karn is the reason the One Ring is a creature, so you just draw your deck out and you just can make a shit ton of mana. Okay, it's something. I'm not running any of these cards other than the One Ring, and it's a 4-card combo, so let's see. I don't think there's anything else that's really impressive. Nothing that catches my eye. Let's see. That's a 5. Yeah, as you can see, we are reaching the point of no return. Yes, none of these combos are really tickling my fancy. So Karn would only be then a stacks piece for me. And though it's a great stacks piece, you can't really defend it because we only have a flyer that can't block, and we have these 0/1. So though I think it's a great stacks piece and I actually kind of want to run it, I just think that I have to hold off on it until I really think it's like a meta call. Language is a board what I'm thinking about. Got Lead in Near. We already talked about. Long Goodbye is a cool removal spell, but it's a 2-mana removal spell. It is uncounterable, what we may need, but we'll kind of fill this out a little more. Got Massacre. It's free board wipe, which is kind of cool. Mausoleum Secrets is cool for mono black decks. It says search your library for a black card with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. If we don't have any creatures, we can always guarantee to go search for Walking Ballista. But if we have Walking Ballista in our hand, we need to go search for Agathis. So caution, first of all, Agathis is not a 0 cost, and the highest I can see us going is maybe like search for a searching for a 1-drop. Talked about Mikaeus. Necrotic Ooze combos very similarly to Trazyn, but it can't be tutored by our 6-mana tutor 3 artifacts and put them in the graveyard. Our Disciple of Gix. So I was like, nah, we'll leave the doubt for Keurig. This was the card I took out for Tormar's Crypt, because you could tap into exit. You could do the same thing, but it costs 1 mana, and it says when it's put into a graveyard, you can pay a black to draw a card. I thought this was reaching a little bit, because at this point I'm like, I know we're mono black, but it's like we have card drawing commands on, so we don't have to particularly lean on like, oh, if this is the thing that happens, then not like we don't have to lean on a card like this to do graveyard hate. I don't think so, especially because it costs 1 mana and every mana matters in this deck. Peat Bog was something I was kind of interested in, but it comes in tap, so it's a great turn 1 play, but after that it's kind of like Persist was return target non-legendary creature from the graveyard to the battlefield. It's actually something that may be worth, bringing back, but the only thing about it is that it works with it works with only our Hoarding Brood Lord, and it cannot bring back either Shieldred or Trazen, which are combo pieces, which we may want to actually bring back for other combos. So it was too linear to actually do what we wanted to do with it. We got Pestilence. Nah, this one's better when you can use Kirik's ability to pay the black mana. Phyrexian Tower, it tapping for colors when you have to have a creature out kind of can hurt because you'll be down on mana. Like, you can't use this to help cast like the Agatha Soul Cauldron because you have to sacrifice your commander to do it. So it's kind of like that. Praise Grass, something I'm actually wanting to add back, and same boat with Professor Onyx and the other card of this combo. And Razaketh. These are all like really good cards. I just don't think they fit because this is just a combo piece. I don't want to play this style of like I'm the threat now. And Praise Grass, I don't know if I need my opponent's cards. Scroll Rack is cool. I saw one deck running it because they were kind of saying their idea was to be able to go like, hey yo, if we put a piece in our hand, then we do it. But I think we have enough layered combos where we really don't need to re-put cards in our library. I think that's fine. We can live without it, basically. That's what I'm saying. Signature on Soul I really was interested in. We also have Shieldred's Edict. It's a instant speed baby board wipe. It's fine. We're not really playing control, so I don't really think we need it. And I actually think with that, I just throw this to considering. It's not bad. It's just we're not playing control. Solder Pack, another free removal spell. It's great for when we need to win on our turn, so we can remove a problematic creature, but it only does hit non-black creatures. So it's kind of like, it's a little, yeah. Savage Domination, we talked about that. Talking to Abandoned Mire. We want Swamps for our other land. We got Meat Hood Massacre. We talked about it. Thoughtseize. Tomb Fortress was one I recently just added to the sideboard because I saw it. And I was like, all right. It comes in tapped, but it taps for black, which is good. But even though you can pay 5 to exile this land and then mill 4 cards, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield, and you can activate this only as a sorcery. So it's another reanimate effect, but it comes in tapped, and that doesn't feed into our turbo strategy. So it's kind of like, it's in the sideboard because if I find that I need more reanimator effects, I know where to go. Troll of Casa Doom, play tested it for a little bit. I've wanted it because it's a cool reanimation target to have a 6/5 that can only be blocked by 3 more creatures, but also it's kind of like a thing where if you hit this, my idea with it was if you hit this on a Bolas Citadel, you're basically just in that position where just like, hey yo, like I'm not getting stopped because I hit a land. I just paid the 6 life and keep going deeper. So yeah, didn't work out like that. It just gets a little clunky sometimes. And because if you all could already see, I'm already running low lands. Like I'm only running 24 actual lands. So at that point, we're looking at like it's a low count. We'll let it be what it is. And it just, the hardest thing is if this is the only land in your hand, you have to mulligan this hand away because this is not a playable effect. And if you draw this, you're 1 turn slower. So I find that these pay 1 to swamp cycle or whatever cycle like Lorraine's revealed, they're better in slow lists because you don't mind taking your time. In a turbo list, just go ahead and just take the land. Ulcerate, similar to the other one, but actually you lose 3 life and target creature gets -3/-3. Kind of like this. It's great against Stranded, but we don't need our commander to win, so it's kind of like, fuck it. We got Vats, choosing a number of target creatures with equal toughness, destroy the chosen creatures. We have Victimize, 2 target creature cards. Choose 2 target creature cards in the graveyard, sacrifice a creature. If you do return the chosen card, return the chosen cards to the battlefield tapped. I don't ever need to return 2 creatures to the battlefield. I only usually need to return 1. I could use this to go and just like pull out a Walking Ballista and the Trazen, and the Walking Ballista will re-die, but I'm kind of like, I'm reaching. Yawgmoths, same reason as I'm not really running Braids because of the I'm not really mid-range. I don't need to control the table. And though I love playing control, this is not really the objective of the deck. I think it's really cool that if I was running combos, like Yawgmoth combos, like, but I don't even know if there are mono black Yawgmoth combos. That's the thought. Let's see. If there are Yawgmoth combos that I'm already kind of on the way to running, then So that's mono black, but you have to run these. It's not very good in dying creatures. And you have to run I mean, if I was running Mikaeus, maybe. And you do Grey Merchant Asphodel. Okay. This is cool. This is a cool creature. Like, if I went back to Mikaeus, I would think about this combo. But it's just super expensive. It feels more casual because you have to pay 6 plus 4 is 10, 9, 10, 11. I mean, 13. You have to pay 13 mana and have all 3 of these cards. Are they on the battlefield? No, yeah, you'd have to have them all on the battlefield, and this would not have to have Summoning Sickness. Well, no. This can have Summoning Sickness because it's this one. It looks like Ayara is only used for its static ability because you need Yawgmoths on the battlefield, Mikaeus on the battlefield, or Ayara first of the Lockwayne on the battlefield, and your life total is at least 2. You control at least 1 additional non-token non-human creature with toughness 2 or greater, and so you even need a 4th card. Well, nah, we have a commander, so fuck it. And the tokens our other commander makes. Yeah, it's just reaching it. Nah, it's reaching. Ship it. Let's see. Yeah, nah, I don't think there's any combos in here that's like really. It kind of just changes what the deck is trying to do. And at this point, they're even telling us to run the combos that we're trying to run. So that's just, we're going to pivot on that. So last card I want to talk about. This one was a recent removal. This is the card I took out for our, this is the card we actually took out for, what is this creature card called? For the Shieldred. Because I was looking for a slot for Shieldred, and I was just unsure where I was like, what can I actually take out for Shieldred? And it's actually Yawgmoth's Will. So similar to my mono red Reunion list, when you're not trying to do graveyard shenanigans in this effect, like paying 3 and shutting off your graveyard, plus you have to pay the mana to actually cast the cards. It'd be one thing if I cast a bunch of ramp spells, cast Yawgmoth's Will, then recast the ramp spells to keep like ramping up. I feel like that's a reach, and it only is like viable if you're trying to do like post Peer of the Abyss combos. But if I'm going Bolas or Citadel combo or whatever not, and I hit Yawgmoth's Will and I have to cast this, now my graveyard is shut off for the rest of the turn. Not to mention, every time I see it, it never felt good. I never am trying to use this as a reanimator effect. I have too many reanimator effects in this list. Like, honestly, right now, if we look at the list, like where I'm currently sitting at, I think I have 1, 2, 3. What are our other reanimator effects? 4, 5. We got 6, the reanimator itself. Then we have where's our other reanimator? Yeah, I think those 6 reanimator effects are just fine. I don't think we just needed another one. I don't think we needed another one at all. So, and most of the time, it's weird. Most games, I'll end up like when I was playtesting it, I'll end up drawing 1 or 2. So that is the list. That is the sideboard. If you have any suggestions, we're in the brewing phase of this list. This is not a deck tech. This is a brewing phase. So always feel free, check us out, dropping down your comments, your suggestions. I am not a mono black pilot, so I'm never too prideful not to just hear out your suggestions and see what are our fellow mono black players doing in the community. All right, now you're asking me, okay, T, like how does the list do? So let's just see some playtest hands, and I'll show you all what I think about when I playtest this hand. So biggest thing is you're looking for mana and you're looking for tutors, at least 1 tutor and like a game plan. Okay, so if I do deal another hand, this is our first 7. I'm seeing Walking Ballista, which is part of the combo. I'm seeing 2 lands, so we can get our commander out on turn 2, turn 1 interaction with cut down, and we have a Diabolic Intent. So I would mulligan this one away, only because our only tutor in hand requires us to sacrifice our commander to go find the Aghanim Soul Cauldron. If that was a demonic tutor, this would be a turn. What is this? Maybe if we drew another land, like maybe a turn 3 win, maybe. But even in this kind of region, I wish this was like maybe a vampire tutor. Like that would be great because then we can go turn 1, hold up and cut down. Turn to like get rid of a Dranth or some junk like that. Turn 2, go Francisco. Turn 3, win the game. Slow, but we'll go second 7. Now we're looking at Urborg, Crystal Vein, Grim Monolith. Okay, we're getting somewhere closer, but I don't think we're there yet. Are we there yet? Okay, so I like that we have Keurig in the end. What I like about this is that we can go turn 2 Keurig. We go Crystal Vein to Grim Monolith. No, or we can go like Urborg, turn 2 Crystal Vein, crack it to go Grim Monolith, and then go Keurig for 6 life. But then we're stuck. We have to top deck a tutor in order to keep going, and we're at this point we're actually out of colorless mana. You know what I'm saying? So we won't be able to really. Well, this will be a setup turn that's so scary. Our opponents are more likely to remove Keurig. So we're gonna take another. We have the Reanimator effect. We don't have an Entombment effect. I mean, like an Entombment effect. So it's kind of like, let's just keep going. Let's go see A6. Luckily, this deck mulligans well. Okay, we're seeing Walking Ballista again. We see Swamp, Cabal Pit, Lotus Petal. We see a turn 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're on a 6. This is a turn 2 Tevesh Zot. This is a turn 2 Tevesh Zot. With this hand, I would bottom the Conqueror's Flail because you can go turn 1 Swamp, Jeweled Amulet, Lotus Petal, and then during the end step, put the mana into the Jeweled Amulet, and then you'll go turn 2 player land, Cabal Ritual, and you'll have exactly 5 to play Tevesh Zot. Your game plan for this hand would be find a tutor to then go turn 3. The best we're looking for this hand at this point is going like turn 3 Francisco. We'll draw cards off of the turn 3 Tevesh. We're looking like the fastest turn 4 win. I didn't flip for what turn. I did not flip for what turn we're going. Let's say we're going 3rd. Turn player 1 is T&K, player 2 is Kennen. We're going 3rd. Player 4 is Dahada. So in that pod, it's playable. The only thing is that we don't have interaction though. So then we are keeping a hand with a turn 2 a turn 2 Tevesh when our opponents can so easily just counter it to just put us out. Okay, I'll say this. If we were going first, I'd keep it just because it's a game plan. But I'm going to check out a 5. Let's go for some greedy keeps. I'm going to go check out a 5. Let's go check out a 5. We are looking at Booty Cheeks. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. We can't even there's no plan to cast a Trash in the Infinite. Let's go check out a 4. I guess we keep this. Yeah, it would be Swamp, Sensei's Divining Top. I'd keep the Grim Tutor, and I know I'll put the Disciple Grix on the bottom. I know I'm going to put the Imp Smithers in the bottom because we're on a 4. The choice will be between the Mox Diamond and the Springleaf Drum. Because I have a low land count, I think it would be better to keep the Springleaf Drum, but that is dependent on us getting something else out. So I actually think it may be better to get the Mox Diamond, because if we can leverage the Sensei's Top to get 2 land drops on 1 turn, I think it'd be better just keep land, Mox Diamond, Sensei's Divining Top, and Grim Tutor. So let's quickly just play test this hand real quick. Let's say we put this on the bottom of our library, put this on the bottom of our library, and we'll put this on the bottom of our library. And then we'll just draw this out. We drew a Tormod's Crypt, so we go land, Sensei's Divining Top, and Tormod's Crypt. We'll just get that out in case somebody try to do some early ad nauseam to breach lines. All right, go to turn 2, and we drew into a Dark Ritual, which is great for our Grim Tutor. We are behind on mana, so what I would do is okay, there's actually 2 things. We have 2 choices. We can go activate this, go look for our next land drop on the top 3 for Sensei's Divining Top, hope to get a Black Source land, and then go for the Grim Tutor. The Grim Tutor will probably be for But in that process, we will lose our Sensei's Divining Top. If I'm looking at this, like, I could Grim Tutor for a crypt, but then the question is, what is the crypt doing for us? Other than setting us up by doing a Sensei's Top for the land. But then it's kind of like, man, this was not the best situation. We probably should have kept the turn 2 Tevesh Sot and just played the mid-range game. That's probably what we should have done. But this is a new brew. That's what we're doing together. All right, let's see. I don't think it's good because I don't think it's good to activate the Sensei's Top to dig for a land, because if we see no lands, we're at 24 lands in this deck. I think we'll just do Dark Ritual into Grim Tutor, lose a 3 life. Both of these will go to the graveyard, and what I'm going to do is, because right now I want to start pivoting towards trying to draw cards. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go get a Mana Crypt. Shuffle. I'm going to play that Mana Crypt, cast it. I'm going to tap that Mana Crypt to then activate Sensei's Divine Top. And let me make sure this is shuffled real good. I'm going to look at the top 3 cards. What I'm looking for is to get a land. If we can get a land, I have a colorless floating still. I can play Francisco this turn, and if I can actually set up so next turn I have a land as well, I can cast Tevesh Sot, sacrifice the Francisco next turn, and get us back in the game immediately by drawing 3 cards next turn. It's not the best situation, but if we're going against these grindy mid-range decks, at this point, we just have to politic into Pete saying like, hey, yo, we're behind. We're just trying to draw cards. So then I'm activating Sensei's Divine Top, looking at the top 3. 1, 2, 3. This is a bust. Okay, so then this is not the best. So we're going to put the Snuff Out on top of library. We're going to keep the Hoarding Brood Lord and the Transcendent Infinite there. And we are good for that turn. We don't have anything else to do. And we know we have a Snuff Out in case somebody tries to go for a win. We can always tap Sensei's Divine Top to draw it, and we have this. So we're not out the game. We're just in this situation. All right, so then we go to turn 3. This is where things get a little spicy. And we'll activate the top again. Look at the top 3. We have a Mox Amber. That's something. What I would do here is put them back on top like this. Use the colorless and the black to cast the Francisco. And even though it will top deck fuck us, I think we want them. I don't think we want the Mox Amber that bad. I mean, technically, yeah. I mean, because I'm thinking this is just a very sad game, because we should have kept the slower hand, especially with the power composition that I made up in my head. It was just at this point, we're just looking to get 5 mana to go get Tevesh out. So let's just go see another hand. This is the bust. Let's try it again. All right. First 7. It is 2 mana on turn 1 and a Tormod's Crypt. It is, so the idea is I want to throw this away because there's no tutors. I like seeing Carrick again, but it's no tutors. So I'm going to just reset. Let's go see the second 7. Oh, by the way, this hand we're going first. Let's say we're going first. Kennan's going second. Ryonia's going third. And then we have a TNK going fourth. This is a better hand. What I see here is a turn 2 Buried Alive. We just don't have a Reanimator effect. And we can go land. Yeah, we have land to pitch the Greedy Foot. And we have this Buried Alive that we can drop off of turn 2. And we have a Walk Ballistic. If we draw into, what I like about this is if we draw into a Reanimator effect, or a tutor, we basically have a line for a turn 3 win. So let's just keep this. Draw. There's a tutor. So what I see us doing right here is going play my land. Do I want to go Greedy Freebooter? Yeah, let's do this. Let's just cast a Greedy Footbooter as an actual card, because we can always pitch this if we need it. And we'll go to turn 2. Drew a Grim Monolith. That's fine. I'm gonna just play this second land, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cast this Diabolic Intent, sacrificing the Greedy Footbearer. This ability goes on the stack. to his death trigger, because this is an additional cost. So we'll actually do that. We'll make a treasure token right now, and we will also get to scry one, but it doesn't matter because we're about to tutor, so we have this disciple. This doesn't matter. We're gonna go tutor for Agatha Soul Cauldron. All right, and this will go to hand, and then this will go to graveyard. And then at this point, what we're just looking to do is just because we don't need the Buried Alive anymore, we just want to set up. We're at a setup turn right now. We'll just play this Chrome Mox, and then honestly, I just say we just bop. We can just cast the Francisco, and I'll tell y'all why we're gonna put ourselves in this position, because he'll untap with with no summoning sickness. So we'll cast Francisco, and then we'll just pass the turn. When it gets to our turn 3, we'll play a land. We will cast the Walking Ballista for X = 0. This will go to the grave, and then we'll pay 2, cast the Agatha Soul Cauldron. Then we'll activate it, exile it, put a +1/+1 counter on our Francisco. Because we don't have combat damage, because we do not have summoning sickness anymore, we can actually do this where we go to combat, swing, get the first explorer trigger for doing damage, and then it's a land. It's fine. We don't care, because we can go, all right, we'll just put that land to our hand. Now we will get to remove this +1/+1 counter, do 1 more damage, and we get to remove the next top card. And there's our non-land card. It's a Keurig. We'll leave that on top. We'll add another +1/+1 counter to this, and we have infinite turn 3 win. Fine. It's okay. Now we'll do one more playtest hand. Best 2 out of 3. Let's see. This last one we're going. I'll roll a quick D6 for myself. Let's do this. Roll a D4. We are going 4th. Let's say it is a nice mix. We're going against a stack set, so we're saying we're going against T and K going first. Omnixilis going second. Going third is Timnatana, and then us. And so let's see our first 7. Big 6-minute spells. We have 2 parts of our combos with no ways, and a 1-card combo, but we don't have any way to get it, so we'll see our second 7. This is actually pretty spicy. I wish I had this Leg of the Dead earlier, but that's fine. This is actually kind of cool. We have the Springleaf Drum here. We have an Ancient Tomb. Oh, so what's up, bro? What's about times? Our commanders we're playing, which is Francisco Foul Marauder and Tevesh Zot Duma Fools, partner pairs. So for this hand, if I'm going 4th, the game plan for this hand would be, honestly, like we'd be leaning on this Witchclaw Talisman. That's the thing. It'd be like turn 1 Springleaf Drum. It'd be like turn 2 Francisco and a Witchclaw Talisman, and we would just, it's slow. The question is, do we be scared and not go for a lower case? This is a second 7. We're going 4th. I would keep this if I'm just like, fuck it. If I'm in a tournament play, if I'm in a tournament, I'm probably going to go a little bit deeper. So let's go see a 6. We don't have enough mana to cast anything. Our Mox Opal will not be turned on. So, yep, we're going to pitch it. I do like seeing the Buried Alive, that we're getting closer, and the Animate Dead and this. So, this hand's just missing. Nano will go second to 5. This is not my favorite thing, but it's a Staxy hand. Okay, so this is... Okay, so I'm not saying lean on stacks, but if we go land, we have Gemstones because we're going 4th. We have the Ancient Tomb, so we have a turn 1 this. We need a spell to pitch to it. We can pitch this Swamp. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. We need a 5th spell, which can be either Sensei's Top to have a little bit of card draw in our hand and card filtering. And I wish we could you know what would be so damn dope? It would be really dope if we had to choose. So I know for a fact I want to put Dolphy on the bottom, because our opponents use their graveyards, but like I said, we're not trying to play control. If this was a 7, I probably wouldn't keep it, but it's like we're on a 5 going forward. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna put the all thing in the bottom because we're not trying to control our opponents. The tough thing question is, do we keep the Sensei's top because it's a combo piece and keep the card draw? Do we try to go extra mana? Because we have the Ancient Tomb, we just don't worry about it. We'll put the Soul Ring on the bottom, and then we'll just do this pregame action of put this into exile, and then we'll draw for turn. And it's calling the way. It's mana. We'll play this, and then we're gonna. You all are gonna see in my world how I check if I get somebody. So I'm gonna flip. Tails says somebody tries a tutor, or tries a tutor. Head says no one tries a tutor. So then this is where the unknown side of things will flip. Someone tried the tutor, so we say hypothetically we got them with the opposition agent, and we lost 2 life off the Ancient Tomb. We got them with the opposition agent. Here's where I'll actually just stop, and we're just going to get straight into the gameplay with our amazing other pilots. The whole point of this is that because we don't know the type of tutor and all these other things, the world is our oyster. But we know in our hand we have this Culling the Weak, and we also have a Sensei's of Mining top. So we're actually pretty well set up to if we can get a Bolas' Citadel, we can actually have a turn 2 Bolas' Citadel. So with that being said, I think if it was, for example, a Praetor's Grasp, because we're on this. Say it was a Demonic Tutor, we can take our opponent's Bolas' Citadel if they run it. In the pod we gave ourselves, we are going against an Ob Nixilis, who is the most likely person to play, like to get those tutors going and everything. So we could hope against that. Another card to think about is maybe Ad Nauseam. We do not want to cast that because we're going to end up killing ourselves. We have a lot of expensive spells. Yeah, I think this is where we would stop, and we would just try to slow things down enough, leverage our Sensei's Divine Top. If we hit grab the Bolas Citadel off of Ob Nixilis, that's great. If not, it's fine too. This could be a possible turn 2 win because we have the Sensei's Divine Top, and we're just going to dig as much as we can until we hit Childred or Aether Flux Reservoir. But with that being said, thank you all for joining us in this amazing brewing session. If you have any comments or any ideas you want to see for these commanders, drop them down in the comment section below. We're about to get into this amazing gameplay. So just sit tight. Don't worry about anything. We're about to be great, and we're about to live our best life. I also want you to know, if you're looking for more ways to support the show, we have a plethora of ways. Everything from our ThunderConductor merch. It is the softest, cleanest, smoothest merch on the planet. I love it. It feels good. It makes me look good. It just gets me all nice and cozy and everything. We also have our ThunderConductor proxies, both paperback and cardstock proxies. It is my way to increase access to this amazing format we call cEDH. Not to mention, we also have our ThunderConductor community. Join us on Discord. We have a blast there all the time where you can talk, drop your brewing ideas, queue up some games, just have a good time. But if you want to have more deeper access, we have our Patreon, where you can do everything from get the chance to have your deck showcased right on the stream, do exclusive Q&As, and not to mention, you can also get shouts on our Twitch streams and our YouTube videos. Shout out to our guy Scott Mitchell for being our Mono Red tier patron. You are the man, and you keep the lights on in a way you couldn't even imagine. And very much not least, if you say, T, that's all cool, but I really just want to bless you one time for the fun time, don't worry. Check the link in the bio. You can buy me a coffee. It keeps me up and keeps the lights on. But with that said, I'll see y'all very soon in this Mono Black Partners cEDH gameplay. Y'all be easy. Peace.